Hey guys, and welcome to an episode I didn't think I was going to have to be doing. Uh, Episode 24 of my Out of the Park Baseball 21 series with the Chicago Cubs. It is the 2025 offseason. Um, I thought for sure that 2025 was going to be the quote unquote end of this series. I was probably going to keep it going, but. Um, Maybe not at quite the frequency I was doing it now. Once we had won the World Series, I thought for sure that this was the year for us, but it turns out that the Marlins had other ideas. So that being said, it is time for the postseason, and we've got some. We don't have a ton of decisions to make. We've got some. We've got a couple moves that we'll have to take a look at, and a couple things that we may need to consider. So let's jump right in. So season goals. He's a little disappointed. I'm very disappointed. He's really happy with us though because we improved our defensive efficiency. We re-signed German Marquez. We brought in Mookie Betts. We won the playoffs. So really, the only thing we didn't do were the long-term goals of winning the World Series. So this year he wants us to win the championship. He wants us to re-sign Austin Meadows to a contract extension, and then bring in a team that can win the championship the next 3 seasons. So if we win this year, we will meet both of those goals. So let's take a look at arbitration. Without even thinking, I just went in and I offered new contracts to a couple players. Joe Ryan and Sixto Sanchez, both 1-year deals, just to close out their ARB numbers and again get that boost. I've talked about a few times. Get that boost to fan interest when those contracts are signed. Michael Baez, I am going to offer him a qualifying offer. And this is why he wants $17 million a year for the next 9 years. If we can get him for 15, it's probably still a little much, but my guess is that he won't take it if that's what he's looking for for a contract. If he does, we may have to move him because that's not a contract that I want to hang on to. But I am banking on the fact that he won't take it, and we'll get the draft pick. Brad Hand and Taylor Rogers, I'm not going to offer contracts to either of them, or at least qualifying offers. They were both pretty good for us last year, so we will have some decisions to make in the bullpen as to what we want to do. So let's get in and take a look at the rest of these. So Brady Singer only wants 1-3. He was really, really good, so we are going to bring him back. 13-9, 357. Davey Garcia wants 1-5. We'll bring him back. And guys, I am actually now in my podcasting studio / office, so the sounds are a little different, and that's something that I'm gonna have to work out. I got to figure out the noise, figure out levels, and that sort of thing. As it's all going to be a little different from where I was previously. So just be patient with me, if you would. Thanks. Andrew Vaughn wants 1-9. So let's see if he'll take that. Nope. 1-8-5-0-0-0. Okay. Let's do that. All right. Got him signed. Elvin Gutierrez at 1-4. It's fine. And then we have our last two big ones, Bo Naylor and Nick Gonzalez. Gonzalez we definitely want to extend, and I would be happy to extend him for. Let's see if he'll take that. Yep, cool. So 6 years, $57 million, under $10 million a year for Gonzalez through his age 32 season. I am thrilled with that. And then Bo Naylor wants 5-2. Catchers don't always age all that well, so I'm happy to go year to year with him, especially with what we have in the wings. Any of the minor league free agents we want to bring back as backup? I don't think so. Brendan Little, if this was last year, oh, maybe. Yeah, I think I might see if Little wants to come back. Can never have too much depth, I guess. Pitching depth, right? He's only 24. He's in AAA, so bring him back. He's in AA and wasn't very good. Drew Martinez. Yes, we're going to offer him a minor league contract. I want to bring him back. I mean, how could you not want to bring back a Pedro Martinez, right? Okay. All right. Let's take a quick look at salaries. So you can see we've got Hand coming off the books. None of these contracts are terrible. I mean, Marquez's is a little bit high. Devers is obviously you got $30 million, but Mookie Betts at $20 million for what he just did this year is fine. Javi Baez for what he just put up for us is fine. Austin Meadows is on the last year of his contract. We might let him play it out, see how he's doing. So Anthony Dominguez is somebody we may want to consider moving. That's a lot of money for a setup man. Sixto Sanchez, we are bringing back Joe Ryan. So we're going to have a lot of money invested. Excuse me, I got to shift in my chair here. We're going to have a lot of money invested in our pitching staff, which is why having someone like Brady Singer in there as a cheap fifth option is going to be really, really nice. We got Marquez, Sanchez, Mize, and Ryan taking up, and it's going to be close to $100 million between the five of them. So, Lito continues to come along. I'm really glad that I stuck with him. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump ahead. I will sim ahead to free agency, and then we'll take a look at what's available and what we might need. So, hang tight. We'll be right back. All right, so we are back. It's free agency time, so let's start with the awards. American League Gold Glove winners, Jack Flaherty, Jake Rogers with Detroit, Matt Olson, Oakland, Freddie Zamora, and Bobby Witt for the Orioles. Kyron Paris at short, Jahmai Jones in left for the Yankees, Eddie Almaraz in center field for the Angels, and Aaron Judge in right. In the National League, Tyler Dyson for the Giants, Shea Langelier of the Braves, Pavin Smith for the D-backs, Louis Urias, for the Brewers, Matt Chapman again for the Mets. For Chapman, that's Gold Glove number 8 Gold Gloves for the 32-year-old, hit another 40 home runs. So if we had taken him, if we had signed him instead of Devers and he had put up those numbers, I would be pleased or more than happy. Adiel Amador for the D-backs, Alec Thomas for the D-backs, Harrison Bader and Alex Verdugo in the outfield for the Cardinals. AL reliever of the year, Fernando Romero. He was 3-1 with a 2.51 ERA, 74 strikeouts in 61 innings. In the National League, of course it was Jose Alvarado. Number 2 was Sir Anthony Dominguez. Caleb Ferguson was number 3. So we were 2 and 3 there, but we are still gonna think about moving Dominguez just based on how much he's making. AL Silver Sluggers: Danny Jansen, Yordan Alvarez again. He wins it every single year. Jose Altuve, Vlad Guerrero, Royce Lewis, Albury Major for the Angels, Jared Kalenic for the Mariners, and J.J. Bleday for the White Sox, Abraham Toro as the designated hitter. In the National League, Quinn Prester from the Pirates, Daniel Susac for the Nationals, Josh Bell for the Dodgers, Gavin Lux for the Dodgers, Nolan Arenado for the Rockies, Fernando Tatis of the Padres, Juan Soto for the Nationals, Cody Bellinger, and Mookie for us. American League Rookie of the Year, Heston Kjerstad for the Indians, 266, 37 home runs. In the National League, Victor Ruelas of the Giants, a 22-year-old first baseman, 34 home runs, 97 runs knocked in. Wow, he's good. Aaron Boone, Manager of the Year for the Angels. National League Manager of the Year was Alonso Garcia of the Dodgers. Jack Flaherty wins the American League Cy Young Award. German Marquez wins it in the National League, beating out Freddie Peralta and Jacob deGrom, so good for him. AL MVP, Aubrey Major of the Angels, 63 home runs, 148 knocked in. And Mr. Bellinger wins another MVP. For him, that is Most Valuable Player Award number 5, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2025. 60 home runs, 149 runs knocked in, 9.5 WAR for his career. He's 29 years old. He's got 426 home runs already. So he's pretty good. Mookie Betts finished second. Thankfully, Michael Baez denied or declined the qualifying offer. He is a free agent, so if he signs someplace else, we will get a draft pick. So international free agents, we haven't had much luck here, so let's see if that changes at all. Nope. Nope. Looks like another bust of a international class. That's fine. Free agents, some good names on here. Trent Grisham, he's really good. Corbin Martin, Michael Baez, Chris Bryant's back on the free agent market, and then some older. Riz is back on there. Billy McKinney, Eugenio Suarez, hits a ton of home runs. All right, let's see what we need. Let's see how much money we have. So we got a little bit of money, not a ton, $28 million. If we look at our pitching staff, we go to a 5-man rotation. Got to bring injured list, Marquez back. So this is our bullpen as it stands right now. If we move Dominguez, then we can slide Osorio into the setup role. So we could use a bullpen arm. We could use another solid setup man that maybe won't cost us $10 million a year. The rest of these guys are fine. I mean, it's almost time for Jones to finally get that shot. His numbers are pretty solid across the board. He didn't pitch overly well in Iowa last year, but again, his first season out of the bullpen, he's got a couple of good pitches. His numbers play up pretty nicely. So bullpen arm, we're all set in the rotation. Obviously, we don't need anybody there. So bullpen arm, and then Kelvin Gutierrez is our backup corner infielder, right? He's our third baseman, right? Yeah. I don't really need anything here. Not only do I not need anything, do we look into moving Meadows and sticking Pena in left? I mean, are we there? Is that the time? I don't know. I mean, we might want to look into it. Meadows' defense is starting to slip a little bit. He's 30. He can still hit really well against righties. Against lefties, he's slipping just a tad. And Pena's going the other direction. Pena's already a better fielder. Better on the base paths. No, they're about even on the base paths. We don't need a ton. I mean, we're our offense is pretty set. Let's take a look at who's on the trading block. Nobody of any real substance. All right, let's look at free agents. I mean, I'm not going to spend the money just to spend it. That doesn't make any sense. So we do need a bullpen arm. Yeah, not really blown away by any of these. I mean, I'm not going to pay one of these guys $10 million. I can just hold on to Dominguez. Let's do this. Let's see if... That's not what I want. Let's do this. I don't want to look at potential anymore. Look at ratings. Man, I feel like we should have just kept Alvarado, but his numbers had started to slip for us. Yeah, you can see his numbers had started to drop. Then we got rid of him, and then they increased again. So, any moves that Wilkeman Gonzalez. This guy's not bad. But he plays for the Marlins. Wouldn't make any sense for them to trade him to us. Chaz Wurzberger. I mean, come on. I mean, you got to go after somebody with a name like Wurzberger. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can lock down maybe a trade for another bullpen arm. Again, we've got some of this fungible minor league talent. Gonzalez is Castellanos pretty good. He's not great, but he's pretty good. He doesn't have a home with us, though. See if I can put something together for a bullpen arm, or maybe there's literally nobody in my starting lineup that I'm looking to replace. So I don't need to make any moves offensively. It all comes down to the bullpen, I think. Is there, a bullpen piece out there that can kind of put us over the top? So I'm going to mess around with that for a bit. We'll come back at the Rule 5 draft, and we'll see if we can find another gem. So hang tight. All right, it is Rule 5 draft time. Before we get to that, though, let's take a look at some stuff. So just really quickly, Kyle Schwarber has signed a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Twins. Kyle has had a very interesting journey since he left the Cubs. So if you take a look, we sent him to the Phillies in 2020. He played for the Phillies in 2020 and 2021, hitting .221. Last 3 seasons, he hit under 200, Detroit, St. Louis, and Arizona. He also played in 2022. He played in the Australian Baseball League for 16 games. So you can see he's bounced around a little bit. Last year for the Orioles, though, out of nowhere, 261 batting average, 931 OPS, good for a 3.1 WAR, hit a career high 41 home runs at the age of 32. So he turned that into a 2-year, $12 million contract. Good for Schwarbs. So keeps battling. Anthony Rizzo signed a contract with the Milwaukee Brewers. Riz, we left open in the expansion draft. He was taken by Memphis, where he hit 22 home runs, put up a 3.2 WAR, signs a 3-year, $49 million contract with the Brew Crew. Chris Bryant signs a contract with the Cincinnati Reds. He spent the last 2 years in Milwaukee, where he hit 54 home runs over 2 seasons. So Riz is back in the NL Central, and Bryant stays in the NL Central. We have made a deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks. We sent 25-year-old pitcher Jose Rodolfo to Arizona in exchange for 23-year-old reliever Jose Marcano. See, Marcano projects to be an absolute monster out of the bullpen. 4 great pitches, great stuff, very good movement, elite level control. If his stamina was a little higher, we could use him if his stamina was at a 30, he would be a starter. But he will become a bullpen piece for us. To get him, we give up Jose Rodolfo. Not thrilled about it, as he was a pretty good swing man for us, but light on the control, and his movement was okay, but light on the control kept him from being anything other than kind of a 5th starter swingman, and we have plenty of those. So that was the one deal we made. So our pitching staff is pretty much set. I've decided I'm going to hang on to Dominguez based on what the other relievers are getting. I think it just makes sense. So we'll run with Ferguson, Dominguez, Osorio, and Marcano as our four four major bullpen pieces, and then kind of fill it in from there. Let's take a look and make sure that there's nobody not on the 40-man that we want on the 40-man. Our minor league system, guys, is getting just stacked here. Taro is a 4-star catcher. Adams is looking to be a really, really solid bat. Medina, good. Can play all three outfield positions. Great eye, good power. Van Luke is coming along. He's coming along. He hit 320 in AAA last year, 53 doubles, only walked 3 times. So you still want to see this change a little bit. Want to see that home run power increase a tad. But his contact and his gap power is exactly where you expect. So he'll be up sooner rather than later. Gonzalez and Stewart are going to move up. Actually, I think we're going to leave Gonzalez here. Stewart's coming along really nicely. He'll be up probably next year sometime. Guaraca, we're going to move up. So we've got some really solid talent in the minors that we can use for deals or, to maintain what it is we have going on here. Let's go to the Rule 5 draft. We're going to be picking last. Until our pick. Wow, that's a 5-star starting pitcher. He's the first overall pick in 2021. He's the number 6. I think I have to take him, right? He's the number 6 prospect in baseball, and he's only 22. I think I have to take him and then just work around it. Yeah. I mean, I kind of have to. I don't need any. Yeah. I mean, we now have the number 6 prospect in baseball on our team. So let's go ahead and continue the draft. Autocomplete. I mean, worst case scenario, we move him. Worst case scenario, we trade him. He's the number 6 prospect in baseball. Yeah, I mean, we're stacked in our bullpen at this point. Anthony Mendez is another one. He's the number 95 prospect in baseball. We may start him in. In fact, I think that makes the most sense. Start him in AAA. So we've got 14 guys here, so we're probably going to need to send a couple people down or make a couple of moves. Maybe we send Jones down. Really, anybody who has options at this point is going to be an option to be sent down. Doesn't matter how, Jensen pitched really well last year. He's got options. I don't know how many of these guys are going to have options left. It might just be Marcano, and I can't send him down. So we might have to make a move. We might have to trade. I don't want to trade Davy Garcia. We might have to move Reed Detmer or Ryan Jensen. Those are probably Jensen's probably the most likely to go, just because Detmers is a lefty, and it's always good to have that lefty in the pen. So let's just actually, it's not what I want to do. Do this. I wanted to pair him up with somebody, so let's add him in there and see what we can get out of this package. Yeah, I mean, really? Okay. I mean, this doesn't help me because it just gives me another pitcher, but I mean, that's something you have to consider. Really, Adley Rutschman. He didn't turn out great. He's like this version of Matt Wieters, which, if you haven't looked into the Matt Wieters memes, that's something you want to take a look at. They were pretty funny back in the day. It's Robert. Again, I don't need a center fielder though. I'm happy with mine. I don't want to necessarily pay him $20 million. I don't want to pay Brendan Rodgers $27 million. I don't want to make another deal with the Dodgers. Freddie Peralta. I mean, this is just. This was unexpected, honestly. Dowie. What if. Let's do that. Are there any prospects we can just stash that aren't. See, this guy's a starter. This is history. Second round pick in 2019. And he's a starter. Right? 54 stamina, 4 good pitches, and he's a starter. So Cincinnati, he's a starter. His stamina is a little light, but he's a starter. Indians really want him. Ward Quellen Vasquez. Wonder if he's any relation to Jay Quellen. Second base prospect. Adrian Placencia. All right, so there are some options here. Not making a trade with the Dodgers. Making a trade with the Cardinals. All right, so there are some options. So what I might do is spend some time messing around with the top prospects and using these guys as a base. See if I can land a top prospect just for funsies, because I mean, on top of everything else, we're not an old team. Baez and Betts are our oldest players. Maybe an elite outfield prospect, as Betts and Meadows are both over 30, but even still, I mean, we got Pena on the back end at 22, Dominguez at 22, Knowles is 24. So we're not an old team either. But I guess you can never have too many prospects. So that's probably what we'll do. And I will sim ahead to opening day. We will set our roster. Ooh, Hall of Fame voting. All right. So, Miggy. Big Sexy. Helton. This isn't a very good Dustin Pedroia. Pujols, obviously, he should be a first ballot. Omar. This is going to let me vote for a couple players who wouldn't otherwise get them, which isn't terrible. I mean, Pettit deserves to be in. Steroids and all, if Clemens and Bonds and those guys are getting in. Andrew Jones deserves to be in. It's a damn shame that he's not going to make it. He deserves to be in. And I just got an ESPN notification. Patriots have traded Rob Gronkowski and a 7th-round pick to the Bucks for a 4th-rounder pending a physical. That's probably the least surprising news of the day, so good for Gronk. Breaking news here on the Around the World Sports channel. However, by the time you're watching this, it's probably not breaking news. We're just going to go with that. So those are our 8. All right, so I'm going to sim ahead to opening day, see if we can mess around for some prospects, and call it a day. So we'll be back in just a minute. All right, guys, we are back, and it is almost opening day. So let's I've already gone in and sent our players down. We sent down Mendez, Jones, Adams, Lino, Medina, Van Luke, Fleming, and Kessler. So our AAA team is going to be absolutely stacked. So really, all of our minor leagues will be. We've got some solid minor league talent. So all right, the one trade we made leading up to the postseason. Like I said, I wanted to try to package some of our chaff, I guess you will, and see if we could get a little bit younger, a little bit better. So we sent Ryan Jensen, Anger Castellano, and Ethan Wilson and Brandon Forrester to the Texas Rangers for 25-year-old Hunter Barco. And right now Barco's in our bullpen. But I mean, it could be a starter very, very easily, and likely will be as some of my other starters maybe get a little older or injury prone. He's the number 40 prospect in all of baseball. We gave up, like I said, Jensen, who was a pretty good pitcher for us, but that movement's going to hinder him from being anything other than okay. Castellano, again, not bad. We got him from the Yankees in a deal a few years back, but with Devers locked up at third for the next few years, he's got nowhere to play. And then Wilson and Forrester Forrester was our first round pick 2 years ago, I believe. And he's not bad. He's good defensive shortstop, good speed, but we've got other options at short with the bat. So I feel like that's a good deal for us. Just gets us deeper in our pitching rotation and puts us in good shape. So some bad news: we lost Mookie Betts for 4 weeks. That injury was back on 3/15, so he's a week into that now. So he's going to miss the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. Not a huge deal. Ooh, and I just saw this: Michael Kirian down for the year for Miami. So big news for the Marlins fans is Kirian's been really, really good for them since they acquired him a couple years ago from us. So let's go ahead and set our lineups and our bullpen, and we'll call it an episode. All right, so batting stats. We'll start here. Mookie Betts was our leadoff hitter, obviously, but that's not going to happen now. I think. Do we give Pena a shot here, or do we still run? I mean, his numbers pretty much across the board are better than Dominguez at this point. Well, anyway, so leading off is going to be Nick Gonzalez. In the 2-hole will be Austin Meadows. Is that what I want to do? What I really want to do is bat Gonzalez third and then put Devers in the 4-hole. I think that's what I'm going to do. That makes us really left-handed heavy at the top of the lineup. Maybe we do this. I think we do that. And hopefully Vaughn. And this is only temporary until we get Betts back, and then Gonzalez will go back into the 3-hole and et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, like, I kind of don't want to bench Dominguez after the year he had last year. 26 home runs. He was a 3.8 win player. Good speed, good defense. I mean, he played really, really good defense last year. I guess he was okay, but he didn't make an error. Hasn't made an error in his big league career. I guess he was just average in center field. I think we're going to give Pena a shot, but we're not going to bat him fifth. Fifth is going to be Naylor up and Baez. No, we want to go like that. That's what we want to do. And we need our center fielder and our right fielder. Feel like actually it's not anything I have to worry about right now. Go Dominguez in center, Pena in right. We let the two of them battle it out until Betts comes back. That's what we do. Yep, that's what we do. All right, so let's copy that. Let's go over here. Paste. So our DH against righties will be Knowles. Sean Knowles. I don't know how much longer Knowles is going to be with us either. Oh, and we have McConnell, Brady McConnell, up as Dorian Gonzalez is out for another few weeks as well. So McConnell will back up at those middle infield positions until he's ready. So against lefties now, to paste the lineup, and what do we want to do against lefties? So the first thing we need to do is Cisco Alvarez. I don't know why I have him up. He needs to be sent to AAA. Means I can call somebody else up. Calling out just temporarily. Call up Medina until Betts is back. It's lefties, so we put Alvarez in. At Knowles. Knowles is going to play right field against lefties. That's it. Yeah, that's fine. Depth chart. And let's copy that lineup. Here. Stick Kelvin Gutierrez at DH. Him up. Depth chart. All right. So our lineups are set. So once Betts comes back, we'll have to make some adjustments and that sort of thing, but that'll be fine. So pitching staff. This is going to be interesting. So German Marquez is our number 1. Sixto Sanchez is our number 2. Joe Ryan is our number 3. Casey Mize is our number 4. Who is our number 5? Make it Singer? Do we make it Barco? 71. Barco, if we make him a starter. 62, 46, 50. I think we're going to go with Barco to give us some left-handed flavor in the rotation, and we can change that if we need to. So Ferguson is going to be our closer. Want to make Sir Anthony Dominguez is going to be our stopper. Osorio is going to be a middle reliever, used often. Marcano is going to be a middle reliever, used often. I guess I can't do that. So that gives us 4 really solid bullpen arms. Let me just do this because it sorts them out. So he's going to be an emergency starting pitcher. Avoid high leverage. Long relief. Detmers is going to be long relief. Singer is going to be long relief. Emergency starting pitcher, and David Garcia is going to be middle relief. Actually, let's make Detmers a specialist as well against lefties. It's going to be that. So, yeah, so Ferguson will be in to close games. Dominguez will come in 8th in close game when things are tight. Osorio is going to come in and pitch more often. Marcano is going to be another middle reliever. He's going to be our backup. I don't have any setup guys. Just realized I didn't do that. So these guys are both setups. Garcia, he's going to be him more often because that gets us those strikeouts. Marcano is going to be 7th or later, I think. I think that works, right? Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and sim to opening day. Take a look at prospects. We'll take a look at preseason predictions, and we'll call it an episode. All right, so season expectations, win it all. That's to be expected. Top prospects. Jim Pruitt is number 6. We have the top prospect system in the majors. Jim Pruitt, our Rule 5 pick, was his number 6. Mario Gonzalez is number 19. Mario Guaraca is number 22. Esteban Castillo and Edgar Mata still in international complex. Look at preseason predictions. We're only expected to win 87 games this year. That's interesting. And if we have a weakness, it's going to be our offense. Our pitching staff is absolutely stacked. But even that being said, I think our lineup, our everyday lineup, is really, really good as well. And once we get Betts back, it just makes it that much better. So I'm not sure where they're getting that, but hey, they're entitled, I guess. Yeah, our pitching staff is loaded. It's absolutely loaded. So it gives Pruitt an opportunity to just sort of learn on the job, so to speak. And then as he improves, it gives us the opportunity to look at, because Sanchez and Ryan are both going to get really expensive here once they are done with arbitration. So we'll have some waiting in the wings backups ready to go if needed. So that is going to do it for this episode, guys. So when we come back next, it'll be the end of April. We'll do that through the trade deadline. And that will do it. So as always, please leave a like and subscribe. And until we meet again, everybody take care. Bye-bye.